Okay, here we are, live one in. As usual, there's going to be probably realistically maybe 10 minutes until we get started while I spam the link around to various places. 6 notifications on Facebook. What is going on? Okay. Okay, I'm going to spam the link around. Feel free to get a drink in the meantime. We're starting in a little while. What do we got here? Post on the page. Posting the event. Okay, cool. Page event post done. Hello, mysterious one person who always tunes in before I spam the link. You must be subscribed to the channel. 2 people now. Hope you can hear me okay, as usual. Yes? Okay, let's get the questions up. That's a good start. Get Facebook up over here so I can check on that as we go along. Do not forget, I set an alarm, says Purot. Very good. Peter says, can I have tonight's link? Yes, you can. So you can hear me okay, Pierrot? Can you hear me? Yes, 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 here. Can you hear me? Okay, cool, good. That's good to know. Stops me doing international sign language for is my microphone turned on? All right, what do we got here? 3 rounds. That's good. We got who am I? I wanted to check a quick thing about that actually before we get started. Okay, cool. Stop staring weirdly at the screen because I'm actually reading something in front of this laptop screen. Okay, so we're going to start pretty soon, I think. It's only 7:29. It'll be too early yet. Tonight I'm drinking hard cider. How hard is it? 6.9%. Moderately hard. Okay. I think I've got everything sorted. Oh, I need to post spam in a couple of other places. Not there. Not that. That. All right, wait a couple more minutes, give people a chance to join. Okay. Got my Mali hat, we still don't know the name of yet, on tonight. To look up traditional Mali hats. All right, we'll get started pretty soon, I think. Not too many people tuned in just yet, but a couple of minutes past the half hour. All right, so the way this works, in case you haven't played before, but in case you have, it's still the same. My name is James. I'll be your host tonight. We're going to have 3 rounds of trivia. I don't think I need to explain the concept of pub trivia or why we're playing it online because of COVID. I'm sure we all know that. But the way this is going to work, we're going to have 3 rounds. The first round is 20 questions of relatively easy, I would say. Hey, Simone. Relatively easy first round, 20 questions, and then I give you the answers. Then we'll have round 2, which is less easy, slightly more difficult. That's 20 questions, and I'll give you the answers to those. Although I will say lately that the line between round 1 and round 2 has become a bit blurred. But then we have round 3 at the end, which is quite difficult. If you get any points in that one, you're doing pretty well. There's 10 questions in that round. They're the silly / very difficult, obscure trick question type thing. Okay, so we've got 10 people tuned in. 3 minutes past the half hour. I reckon we can pretty much get started. Maybe another 30 seconds or so. Grab a drink. Hi, elated Matt. Let me scroll to the top of the questions, as is traditional. While we're waiting, I've got a terrible dad joke that I heard the other day, which I thought was really funny. So I went to a fancy dress party with the theme musical instruments. The host asked me what my costume was, and I told her I was a harp. She said, "You're much too small to be a harp." I said, "What? Are you calling me a liar?" Obscure musical instrument, dad joke, love it. All right, let's get started. We got Simone, we got Matt, we got Pierrot, all the regulars, 11 people. Let's get cracking. Okay, round 1. Question 1. Pierrot says, what has 4 wheels and flies? I don't know. Something that attracts flies. What? See, this is the problem with the lag, is I don't get the punchline until quite some time later. All right, round 1. Question 1 is, how many seconds are there in a day? I know, it's a maths question to start with, but you can work it out, or you might already know it if you're an IT nerd. Okay, what has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck. Okay, that's very old. Question 1, round 1. How many seconds are there in a day? Hey, Pierre. Yes, you did just make it. So question 2 of round 1. What are the 2 main ingredients of the cocktail called a screwdriver? It's pretty simple. It's only really got 2 ingredients. Question 2. What are the 2 main ingredients of the cocktail called a screwdriver? I guess you can half a point each if you get those correct. Question 3. What kind of animals are kept in an apiary? That's A-P-I-A-R-Y, apiary. What kind of animals are kept in an apiary? I don't think we've had that one before. I get terrible deja vu about questions because because of asking them in pubs and online and various places. Later, Matt says his kids love the garbage truck joke. Did they like my joke? Did my joke get no kudos from the elated Matt household? Question 4 of round 1. I guess this is a round 1 question. Major Les Hiddens of the Australian Army, now retired, is more commonly known by which nickname? Question 4. Major Les Hiddens, Hiddins, Les Hiddens of the Australian Army, now retired, is more commonly known by which nickname? Okay, Matt's going to try my joke out on his kids later. Well, don't mess it up. Tell it properly. just like I kind of did. All right, question. What are we up to? That was question 4. 5. Steinlager is a beer brewed in which country? Question 5. Steinlager, Steinlager, Steinlager is a beer brewed in which country? And in case they do like brewed under license in other countries, let's say that like the home country of that beer. I'm now going to check, which I have already checked before, of course. There you go. Yes, it's definitely brewed in that place. All right, question 6. Losing it already. Question 6. Uri Geller had a famous party trick, the ability to bend what with his mind? Question 6. Uri Geller had a famous party trick. It was the ability to bend what with his mind? Questions of whether or not he was actually doing it aside, he's famous for bending something with his mind. What are those things? I think this is a relatively obscure first round. Maybe it'll ease up as we move along. Or maybe the whole night will be cripplingly difficult. Let's find out. Question 7. In which year did Steve Irwin die? Question 7. In which year did Steve Irwin die? Steve Irwin, famous animal lover, naturalist, TV presenter, killed by a stingray, I believe. Question 7. In which year did Steve Irwin die? Question 8. Yin, Hatha, Bikram, and Vinyasa are all forms of what? Question 8. Yin, that's Y-I-N. Hatha, H-A-T-H-A, Hatha. Bikram, B-I-K-R-A-M. And Vinyasa, V-I-N-Y-A-S-A. Excuse me. Are all forms of what? I won't hear too much bad said about Steve Irwin. I mean, he was a bit of a caricature of a person, but I think he had a pretty good heart. No pun intended, stingray joke. I think he was a pretty good guy, really, and did a lot of good, and was taken pretty unpleasantly too young. Anyway, question 9. What name is given to the kitchen compartment on a ship or aircraft? Question 9. What name is given to the kitchen compartment on a ship or aircraft? Norel says, sorry, we're late. Well, we're up to question 9. Once we get to question 10, maybe I'll do a quick recap of the first 10 questions because we've got 17 people online, and that's about 7 more than there were when we started. So after this next question, I'll do a quick recap through the first 10. So be ready with your pen and paper or whatever. All right, question 10. According to legend, the Pied Piper led which animals away from the town? So question 10, according to legend, the Pied Piper led which animals away from the town? That should really be like question 1 of round 1. Maybe we can work a bonus question out of that. Why not? For a bonus point, since that's so painfully easy, for a bonus point for question 10, tell me the name of the town that legend is associated with. He's known as the Pied Piper of. So question 10 is, according to legend, the Pied Piper led which animals away from the town? And for a bonus point, what's the name of the town that legend is associated with? Okay, and for the purposes of question 10, children are not animals, although you may disagree from personal experience. Okay, so quickly we're going to run through the first 10 questions to catch everybody up. So question 1 was, how many seconds are there in a day? Question 2 was, what are the 2 main ingredients of the cocktail called a screwdriver? That's a screwdriver. Question 3, what kind of animals are kept in an apiary? A-P-I-A-R-Y. Question 4 was, Major Les Hiddens of the Australian Army, now retired, is more commonly known by which nickname? Question 5 was, Steinlager is a beer brewed in which country? Question 6, Uri Geller's famous party trick is the ability to bend what with his mind? Question 7 was, in which year did Steve Irwin die? Question 8 was, Yin, Hatha, Bikram, and Vinyasa are all forms of what? Question 9 was, what name is given to the kitchen compartment on a ship or aircraft? And question 10 was, according to legend, the Pied Piper led which animals away from the town? And the bonus point is, what is the name of the town in the legend? And for the purposes of that question, children are not animals. Okay, so that's got us all back up to speed. Question 11, which actor was in the films Harry Potter, Die Hard, and Galaxy Quest? Question 11, which actor was in the films Harry Potter, Die Hard, and Galaxy Quest? I think he was in all the Harry Potter films, but he was also in Die Hard and Galaxy Quest. Question 12 of our varying difficulty round 1. On the periodic table, which element has the symbol C for cat, A for apple? Big C, little a. On the periodic table, which element has the symbol Ca? Yes, Simone, I love Galaxy Quest. It's one of my, is it my top 3 films? It's got to be up there. Definitely got to be up there. Number 1 is, of course, Blade Runner. I mean, that goes without saying. It's not only the greatest film ever made, it's possibly the greatest thing ever created by humanity. Then I'd have to say Ronin, Galaxy Quest, Princess Bride. They're all up there. Anyway, so question 11 was, which actor was in Harry Potter, Die Hard, and Galaxy Quest? Question 12 was, on the periodic table, which element has the symbol Ca? Question 13, which famous company was founded by George Eastman in the 19th century? Which famous company, which is a brand we still know today, was founded by George Eastman in the 19th century? If you haven't seen Galaxy Quest, stop playing trivia, go watch it. Well, maybe watch it afterwards. Question 14. Which girl's name is also the correct name for a female donkey? Which girl's name is also the correct name for a female donkey? Yeah, I remember when one of the Star Trek films came out, it might have been Generations or something, and there was a scathing review of it in one of the TV reviewing columns in the newspaper. And that guy, he concluded his review of one of the official Star Trek movies by saying, by far, the best Star Trek movie remains Galaxy Quest, and it's not even a Star Trek movie, which I thought was a pretty good summary of it. Question 15. Is a timpani a percussion, woodwind, or string instrument? Question 15. Is a timpani Timpani, timpani. Is it a percussion, woodwind, or string instrument? Pierrot has seen the Black Mirror episode, which makes fun of Star Trek. That's also good, but pretty dark. Galaxy Quest is not dark. It's just good fun. And you can spot in Galaxy Quest quite a few people who have gone on to bigger and better things if you look carefully. Okay, question 16. Which famous composer was born in 1770 in Bonn, Germany? Question 16. Which famous composer was born in 1770 in Bonn, Germany? A German composer. Right, what are we up to now? Question 17. Dolores O'Riordan was the lead singer of which successful Irish band? Dolores O'Riordan, this is question 17, was lead singer of which successful Irish band? Question 18. In the following phrase, what is the correct spelling of the word it's? So in the following sentence, I'm going to say sentence. In the following sentence, what is the correct spelling of the word it's? So the sentence is, the dog was chasing its tail. What is the correct spelling of the word it's? It's not really a tricky question. It's just a pet hate of mine. Question 19. Which word now used in English means dance writing in Greek? Question 19. Which word now used in English means dance writing in Greek? Slightly tricky round one this time, I think. Sort of started hard and got easier as we went along. And question 20. Between 1981 and 1986, the musical duo Wham sold more than 30 million records worldwide. For 1 point each, who were the two members of Wham? So question 20, between 1981 and 1986, the musical duo Wham sold more than 30 million records worldwide. For 1 point each, who were the two members of Wham? One of them is pretty easy, one of them isn't. Whatever happened to that person? Okay, so that's the end of round one. If my sound dropped out or anything, let me know, but I think you should have heard that okay. As mentioned before, I'm drinking hard cider tonight. As usual, my purchasing decisions are largely decided by coupons and discounts. It's easy if you're a Wham fan, says Matt. All right, let's go through the answers to round one. So, question 1, how many seconds are there in a day? Well, it's 24. Now, hang on. It's 60 by 60 by 24. Isn't that right? 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. Anyway, the answer is 86,400. There are 86,400 seconds in a day. And if you're an internet nerd, you'll know that because that number is used quite a lot in various things that time out once a day. I'm not sure you've got your celebrity rumors correct there, Pierre. I think you might be confusing different celebrities and different rumors. Anyway, so the answer to question 1 was 86,400. Question 2 was, what are the 2 main ingredients of the cocktail called a screwdriver? It's pretty simple. It's vodka and orange. So the 2 ingredients are vodka and orange juice. If you only got one of those, you can have half a point. Question 3 was, what kind of animals are kept in an apiary? That's where you keep your bees. If you're an apiarist, you are a beekeeper. And let's not have the argument about animals versus insects. Insects are a type of animal. Okay, question 4. Major Les Hiddens of the Australian Army is more commonly known as the Bush Tucker Man. Had a TV series for a while, showed you how to eat bushity grubs and all kinds of cool stuff. So the answer to question 4 is the Bush Tucker Man. Question 5. Steinlager is a beer. Sounds very German. Lager and Stein, both German words, but it is in fact brewed and the largest beer export of New Zealand. Steinlager is brewed in New Zealand. Question 6. Uri Geller's famous party trick is the ability to bend spoons with his mind. Probably not really doing it, but anyway, that's certainly the trick he's known for. The ability to bend spoons with his mind. So question 6, the answer is spoons. Question 7, in which year did Steve Irwin die? That was 2006. He died. Question 7, Steve Irwin died 2006. Question 8, Yin, Hatha, Bikram, and Vinyasa are all forms of yoga. Very popular thanks to COVID. Lots of people doing yoga. So the answer to question 8 is yoga. Question 9, what name is given to the kitchen compartment on a ship or aircraft? That is the galley. Galley, the galley. Question 10, according to legend, the Pied Piper led the rats away from the town, and then when the mayor refused to pay him, he led the children of the town away as well. But so the answer to question 10 is rats, and for the bonus point, he is the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Hamelin, I believe. Pied Piper of Hamelin, Hamelin, or something close to that, because it's in Germany. So as long as you had something vaguely phonetically like that, I'll take it. What are we up to? So yeah, 10 was rats, and the bonus point was Hamelin. Question 11, which actor was in Harry Potter, Die Hard, and Galaxy Quest? That is, of course, the late, great Alan Rickman. He played Professor Snape in Harry Potter. He played the bad guy Hans Gruber in Die Hard. That was his breakout role at the age of 46, I think. And he played Sir Alexander Dane in Galaxy Quest by Grabthar's hammer, etc. So the answer was Alan Rickman. Question 12, on the periodic table, which element has the symbol Ca? That's calcium. Pretty easy, that one. Question 13, which famous company was founded by George Eastman? That is Kodak. They did used to be called Eastman Kodak for a while, but so if you had Eastman Kodak, that's fine, as long as you had the word Kodak there somewhere. For question 13. Question 14, which girl's name is the correct name for a female donkey? A female donkey is a jenny, Jenny. Question 15, is a timpani a percussion, woodwind, or string instrument? Well, timpanis are also called kettle drums. That's kettle drums. They're the big bong bong ones. Not to get too technical. So the answer is percussion. They are a percussion instrument. Question 16, which famous composer was born in 1770 in Bonn, Germany? That is, of course, Ludwig van Beethoven. Or just Beethoven to his friends. Question 17, Dolores O'Riordan was the lead singer of the Cranberries. They had hits with Zombie, you might remember, a few others. Zombie is particularly memorable. I believe she's passed away now, unfortunately. Anyway, question 17, the answer is Cranberries, or the Cranberries. Question 18, one of my pet peeves. In the following phrase, what is the correct spelling of the word its? The dog was chasing its tail. Well, it's a pretty simple answer. It's just ITS with no apostrophe, because you don't use the apostrophe for possession with the word its like you do with everything else. Good. I got that off my chest. Question 19. So the answer to 18 is just ITS, no apostrophe. Question 19 was, which word now used in English means dance writing? Well, I'm sure you've picked up by now that writing in Greek is graph or graphy. And if you think about dance writing, it's choreography, which really is dance writing still. So question 19, the answer is choreography. And question 20, between 1981 and 1986, the musical duo Wham, etc. Who were the two people for 1 point each? I think most people know George Michael, but how many of you remember Andrew Ridgeley? Whatever happened to Andrew Ridgeley? Don't know. Maybe he's done lots, but I don't think he was ever quite as big as George Michael was. Okay, so that brings us to the end of round one. Simone is a fellow apostrophe enthusiast, I see. So my name is James. If you want to say it's James's car, how do you do the apostrophe S? Do you not do? Do you just do apostrophe? How do you do it? All right. So how'd you go at the end of round one? Pure Art got 8. That's pretty good. Ad's got 11 and is sad. Cat got 12 and is happy. Simone got 20 and is suspicious. And there's some debate about how you say James's car. Yes, that's the general rule that I go by, that if you actually say the sound James's, then it's James apostrophe S, because that's the sound you're saying. Yep, it is either or, but the one I choose is S apostrophe S. Elated Matt got 21, let down by the Aussie question. What was the Aussie question? Steve Irwin, is that an Aussie question? I think you've lived here long enough to know about Steve Irwin. James is a plural. Okay, people are arguing. Okay, Pierre got 14 out of 22. That's pretty good. Davy Jones got 14 and a half. Pretty good. Narelle got 18 and Stephen got 17 and a half. It's close in the King household. It's nice to see a few regulars back. Bush Tucker Man. Yeah, Bush Tucker Man is a tricky one. It's been a while since he was on TV. All right, so I guess we'll get cracking with... Ooh, I've got messages on Facebook. I should probably see what they say. They're from Peter saying he got 17. It's pretty good. All right, let's get started with round 2. Will this be more easy or less easy than round 1? I guess we'll find out. I think it's going to be less easy. Hopefully. People are getting 17 and 20 and stuff in the first round. All right, round 2. Question 1. In which year was Kuwait invaded and annexed by Iraq, sparking off the first Gulf War? Excuse me. Kim, who I think is a new player, got 19 out of 22. That's pretty good. So round 2, question 1. In which year was Kuwait, that's Kuwait, Kuwait, invaded and annexed by Iraq, sparking off the first Gulf War? Now, I'll caution you, the question says, in which year was Kuwait invaded? Okay, question 2 of round 2. Which spirit is one of the main ingredients of a mojito cocktail? I'm not trying to encourage drunkenness. I just happen to have 2 cocktail questions this week. Question 2. Which spirit is one of the main ingredients of a mojito cocktail? Question 3. What was the flight number of the passenger flight from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur that was shot down over eastern Ukraine in 2014? It was quite a big deal at the time. I guess it still is, really. But anyway, question 3. What was the flight number of the passenger flight from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur that was shot down over eastern Ukraine in 2014? So I'll give you sort of a hint on formatting that flight number. It has 2 letters followed by 2 numbers. So it's 4 digits in total, 2 letters followed by 2 numbers. Question 4. Which British coin had the value of 1/4 of a penny? Excuse me. Question 4. Which British coin had the value of 1/4 of a penny? I ate some sweet potato chips on the way home. I don't know why. I don't really like sweet potato. Anyway, I thought maybe they'd be vaguely less healthy than shoveling down fistfuls of twisties or whatever. Unfortunately, they're quite burpy in combination with this cider. So question 3 was what was the flight number of the passenger flight. Question 4 was which British coin had the value of 1/4 of a penny. Pretty sure it's not a valid coin anymore. Question 5. In which year did Freddie Mercury die? Question 5. In which year did Freddie Mercury die? We're going to be... Why not? For a bonus point, tell me Freddie Mercury's real name. So question 5. In which year did Freddie Mercury die? And for a bonus point, tell me what Freddie Mercury's real name was. I should make a note of that. Okay, question 6. What form of transport was pioneered by Igor Sikorsky? Question 6. What form of transport was pioneered by Igor Sikorsky? Sikorsky. Sikorsky. Still a name you hear nowadays. He was a pioneer of a particular type of transport. What type of transport? Question 7. Long Walk to Freedom was the title of the autobiography of which revolutionary, political leader, and philanthropist? Question 7. Long Walk to Freedom was the title of the autobiography of which revolutionary, political leader, and philanthropist? Question 8. About which London street did Gerry Rafferty sing in 1978? What was the title of his? I'm pretty sure it would have been a number 1. It's still a pretty big song nowadays. So question 8. About which London street did Gerry Rafferty sing in 1978? Random trivia. Gerry Rafferty used to be in a band called the Humble Bums with Billy Connolly. Not a question, just a bonus random fact. Okay, question 9. George Bush Sr. was which number president of the USA? Question 9, confusingly phrased. Let's see if we can improve on that. Which number president of the USA was George Bush Sr.? Stealers Wheel, as in, was that Stuck in the Middle with You? Forever Ruined by Reservoir Dogs? So question 9 was George Bush Sr. was which number president of the USA? Question 10, what name is given to the lowest layer of the atmosphere, which starts at the Earth's surface and extends between 7 to 20 kilometers depending on weather conditions? So the atmosphere has lots of sections. They've all got different names. What name is given to the lowest layer of the atmosphere, which starts at the Earth's surface and extends between 7 and 20 kilometers, depending on weather conditions? And it's the bit that we're in, obviously. There you go. Stealers Wheel, Gerry Rafferty. Question 11. In which city is Copacabana Beach, as in the song? Question 11. In which city is Copacabana Beach? I'm not going to sing it, but you've probably got it in your head now. It's quite a bit of pop culture in this one. Anyway, question 12. In which country was Mark Knopfler born? He of the Dire Straits and what's his current band called? The Notting Hillbillies? Question 12. In which country was Mark Knopfler born? But yes, guitarist, lead singer, songwriter for Dire Straits for many years. Which country was he born in? Question 13. Which word beginning with C for Charlie is for a rail car historically found at the end of a freight train which contained living quarters for the off-duty crew? Question 13. Which word beginning with C for Charlie is for a rail car historically found at the end of a freight train which contained living quarters for the off-duty crew? I wonder if it was at the end because it was away from the steam and the smoke and the noise of the engine. Anyway, question 14. The 1960s blues rock trio of Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker were called what? I feel a bit sorry for young people in this round. There's been quite a lot of dad rock type questions. Anyway, question 14. The 1960s blues rock trio of Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker were called what? Considered by many to be the first supergroup, that band. Question 15. Which fabric dyeing process originated in Indonesia and involves a wax masking technique? That seems very obscure to me. I'm going to give you a hint. It begins with the letter B for basketball. Question 15. Which fabric dyeing process originated in Indonesia and involves a wax masking technique? And it begins with B for basketball. No, says Noelle. Maybe she's angry. I'm giving hints. Are you angry because I gave a hint? Is that why you're saying no? Or that I'm describing half the questions as dad rock. Anyway, getting towards the end of round 2. Matt says he has some fabrics like that. There you go. Question 16. What is the name of the real estate property at 5225 Figueroa Mountain Road, Los Olivos, California? Wait for it. Formerly belonging to Michael Jackson. Question 16. What is the name of the real estate property at 5225 Figueroa Mountain Road, Los Olivos, California, formerly belonging to Michael Jackson? Question 17. Which Japanese city was devastated by an earthquake and subsequent fires in 1995? Question 17. Which Japanese city was devastated by an earthquake and subsequent fires in 1995? Question 18. Which opera has as its central characters a soldier called Don Jose and a girl who works in a cigarette factory? Question 18. Which opera has as its central characters a soldier called Don Jose, D-O-N space J-O-S-E, Don Jose, and a girl who works in a cigarette factory? I'd be interested to see the scores for this round because I'm thinking it's fairly difficult. Speaking of which, question 19. Please correctly spell the word Mediterranean, as in the major body of water south of Europe, west of Asia, and north of Africa. Please correctly spell the word Mediterranean. That's question 19. I'll give you a few seconds on that one. Plastic world. Okay. Oh, I see. Yes, okay. All right, and question 20. Which Australian actor holds the record for the longest continuing performer in an Australian TV role? And for a bonus point, name the character. So question 20, which Australian actor holds the record for the longest continuing performer in an Australian TV role? And for a bonus point, name the character. And as far as I'm aware, they are still going in that role. I did check this out there, but I'm going to double check it again now. Yep, still current. Okay, so that's the end of round 2. I'll give you a few seconds to think about that one. And then we'll go through the answers. I think that was a quite difficult round 2. It seemed a bit obscure to me. We'll see how we went. So question 20 was the character and the actor. You can have a point. I mean, the question is for the which actor, and the bonus point is the character, but realistically, it's 1 point for the character, 1 point for the actor. Okay, so here we go. The answers to round 2. Question 1 was, in which year was Kuwait invaded and annexed by Iraq? Sparking off the first Gulf War. Well, the US-led war started in January 1991, but the question was, in which year was Kuwait invaded? That was August 1990. So the answer to round 1, the answer to question 1 of round 2 is 1990. Question 2, which spirit is one of the main ingredients of a mojito cocktail? The answer is white rum. I think you have to make it with white rum. If you just said rum, you can have half a point because rum is usually dark. But if I look up mojito, the number 1 ingredient is white rum. Okay, question 3. What was the flight number of the passenger flight that got shot down over eastern Ukraine? That was MH17. So Mike Hotel 17. If you had MH but not the right number, we can have half a point, I guess. So MH, I think, is the code for Malaysia Airlines. They had a pretty bad run of luck there because the other one, 370, that vanished around that time as well. Question 4 was, which British coin had the value of 1/4 of a penny? That is a farthing. The name is a corruption of the word forthing, as in to cut something into quarters. So the answer to question 4 is a farthing. Question 5, the question was, in which year did Freddie Mercury die? And that was 1991. And the bonus point was, what is his real name? Or what was his real name? His real name was Farrokh Bulsara. So I'll accept phonetic spellings of that, but it's Farrokh, Farrokh, and Bulsara, Bulsara. Why did he have an unusual name? Because he was born in Zanzibar. That's why. So yes, the answer to question 5 is 1991. And for the bonus point, you had to have something that looks like Farrokh Bulsara. Question 6. What form of transport was pioneered by Igor Sikorsky? Well, Sikorsky is still a brand of helicopters to this day. He was a pioneer of helicopters. Question 7. Long Walk to Freedom was the title of the autobiography of Nelson Mandela. Question 8. About which London street did Gerry Rafferty sing? Baker Street. The song is probably more famous for the saxophone line than the lyrics, but anyway, question 8, the answer is Baker Street. 221B Baker Street? Question 9, George Bush Sr., what number president of the USA was he? He was the 41st. Obama was 44th, W was 43rd, Clinton was 42nd, Trump is 45th. Question 10, what name is given to the lowest layer of the atmosphere? That is the troposphere. From the Greek tropos, meaning to change or to turn towards, and sphere meaning the earth, basically. So troposphere. Question 11, in which city is Copacabana Beach? That is in Rio de Janeiro. Question 12, in which country was Mark Knopfler born? He was born in Scotland, and I'm going to tell you the city. I think he was born in Edinburgh. Let's have a look. He was born in Glasgow. Got it wrong. Anyway, he was definitely born in Scotland. Question 12, Scotland. Question 13, the word beginning with C for a rail car, living quarters, off-duty crew, etc. That is the caboose. It's also called a guard van or a brake van, but I did ask for a word beginning with C for Charlie, so that is the caboose. Yes, it's Glasgow that Mark Knopfler was born in. Question 14. The 1960s blues rock trio, Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, were called Cream. Yeah, thought by many to be the first supergroup. Question 15. Which fabric dyeing process from Indonesia? That is batik. B-A-T-I-K. Batik. Question 16, what is the name of the real estate property at that address formerly belonging to Michael Jackson? That is the Neverland Ranch. Neverland Ranch. Question, what are we up to? 17, which Japanese city was devastated by an earthquake and subsequent fires in 1995? That was Kobe, K-O-B-E. In the Hanshin region of Japan, but the city was Kobe, K-O-B-E. I'll never forget the photo of that freeway where it was like a double-decker freeway and the whole top had just fallen for the whole length of it. It's awful. Anyway, it had a huge effect on building standards in Japan, and now they're much more earthquake-proof. Question 18, which opera has Don Jose and a girl who works in a cigarette factory? That is Carmen by Bizet. Carmen, C-A-R-M-E-N, by Bizet, B-I-Z-E-T. Question 19 was, please correctly spell the word Mediterranean, as in the major body of water. That is, Mediterranean, by the way, means between the land. It is M-E-D-I-T-E-R-R-A-N-E-A-N. So once again, M-E-D-I-T-E-R-R-A-N-E-A-N, Mediterranean. And question 20 was, which Australian actor holds the record for the longest continuing performer in an Australian TV role? Kat says, gah, one letter wrong. That was, of course, the actor is Ray Meagher, M-E-A-G-H-E-R, and the character, for a bonus point, is Alf Stewart. So he's played that role since the very first episode of Home and Away aired in 1988, and he's still playing that role today. Okay, that's the end of round 2. How did you go? Pierrot says, not 0 points, 2.5. Very good. Elated Matt says, what about Dame Edna Everage? Is she a continuing performer in an Australian TV role? I don't think that really counts as a TV role. She's just a general character. Maybe a slightly semantic question. 4.5 says Cat. 14.5 from Simone. That's pretty good. I think that's more than you got in round one, isn't it? 12 from Kim, 12 from Davey, 8.5 from Pierre. Tough round. It did seem tough as I was reading it out, actually. 14 from Ads. Anybody above 5 is cheating, says Cat. Matt got 15. What did Simone get in the previous round? Oh, we're too much arguing about... Oh, Simone got 20 in the previous round. Okay, I think Simone's winning so far tonight. Okay. So those were our two sort of regular rounds. So now we'll have our... Yeah, I know. I saw it. I looked. Simone got 20 in round one. It was hard to find because of all the arguing about spelling of James. Okay, so now we have our traditionally quite difficult round 3. Peter got 17 in round 2. Pretty good again. Narelle got 14. Stephen got 10. Pretty good. Pretty good all round. All right. So round 3 is our difficult / silly round. The general idea with this is 10 questions. If you get any points, you're doing pretty well. But, you know, they're not always impossible. Sometimes they're just ones that, for whatever reason, I didn't put in the other rounds. Anyway, so round 3, question 1. What is the real first name of Bear Grylls? Former SAS serviceman, adventurer, TV presenter, businessman, and I think he's also the chief scout, whatever that's called, Golden Eagle Scout, or whatever they call him. Anyway, Bear Grylls, I'm sure you know who he is. Famous for his unconventional drinking and eating habits, let's just say that. But what's his real name? Maybe his real first name is Bear. But if it isn't, what is it? All right, question 2. What medal is awarded in the AFL Grand Final to the player judged by an independent panel of experts to have been the best player of the match? Excuse me. Sweet potato / cider burp. Question 2. What medal is awarded in the AFL Grand Final to the player judged by an independent panel of experts to have been the best player of the match? What's the name of that medal? Question 3. Which word traced back to the 14th century had us scrambling to our dictionaries when Kim Jong-un used it to describe Donald Trump in September 2017? Question 3. Which word traced back to the 14th century had us scrambling to our dictionaries when Kim Jong-un used it to describe Donald Trump in September 2017? Remember when we used to think Kim Jong-un was the crazy one? Those are such happy days. Anyway. Question 4. What is missing? Yes, Pierre says question 2 is a round 1 question for people who like AFL. Well, I guess that's true. But that's kind of true of every question, really. They're all round 1 questions if you know the answer. I have difficulty judging sport questions because if it doesn't have a motor in it, I kind of don't want to know. Anyway, question 4. What is missing from this group? So what is missing from this group? There are 5 things in this group. I'm going to tell you the names of 4 of them. Which one is missing? So here we go. They are Ceres, Haomea, Makemake, Eris, and what? So question 4, I will spell them because I'm probably mispronouncing them. Question 4, what is missing from this group? Ceres, that's C-E-R-E-S, Haomea, H-A-U-M-E-A. I think I did pretty good pronouncing that, Haomea. Makemake, or make, that's M-A-K-E, Eris, E-I-R-S, and what? So what is missing from that group? Ceres, Haomea, Maki Maki, Eris, and What's Missing. Stephen says, but you play hockey. That's true. Okay, if I play the game, then obviously that's fine. But generally, if I'm like watching it or knowing the stats about it or whatever, Formula One, MotoGP, World Superbike, British Superbike, World Rally even. But in terms of people kicking balls and things around, whatever. All right, question 5. A common type of camera is an SLR or a digital SLR. What does SLR stand for? Question 5. A common type of camera is an SLR or a digital SLR. In that context of cameras, what does SLR stand for? Now we're arguing about whether esports are a real sport. There's a saying I like, which is, I only watch motorsports because all the other sports only require one ball. Right, question 6. Which artist, speaking of which, unintentional segue here, question 6, which artist released the album Wrecking Ball in 2012? Question 6, which artist released the album Wrecking Ball in 2012? Question 7. A major political incident of 2018 was the poisoning in Salisbury, UK, of the Russian former intelligence officer Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. What was the name of the nerve agent used to poison them? Question 7. A major political incident of 2018 was the poisoning in Salisbury, UK, of the Russian former intelligence officer Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. What was the name of the nerve agent used to poison them? That's a pretty good round 3 question. It's got one definitive answer. You'll probably know it, or you'll remember it when you get told it, but I'll be very impressed if you can pull it out of your brain. Question 8. Ingvar Kamprad, who at his death in 2018 was the 8th richest person in the world, founded which retail empire? Question 8. Ingvar Kamprad, that's INGVAR space KAMPRAD, Ingvar Kamprad, who at his death in 2018 was the 8th richest person in the world, founded which retail empire? Pierrot says, that doesn't seem like a round 3 question. Wonder which question you're talking about. Question 9. From a refereeing standpoint, okay, this one's a little bit obscure. Question 9, it's nearly the end of round 3. Question 9, from a refereeing standpoint, what was significant about Diego Costa's goal against Portugal in the FIFA World Cup game on the 15th of June 2018? Yes, you may feel free to smack your head and swear. Question 9, from a refereeing standpoint, what was significant about Diego Costa's goal against Portugal in the FIFA World Cup game on the 15th of June 2018? Okay, very good. Some discussion in the comments about the appropriateness of questions for rounds. That's all fine. Question 10, the last question of round 3. For half a point each, please name the 4 islands that are shared by Indonesia with other countries. So Indonesia, of course, is a country made up of many islands, but some of those islands are divided between Indonesia and another country, or several countries. So for half a point each, please name the 4 islands that are shared by Indonesia with other countries. I'm pretty sure you've heard of at least 3 of them, but there are 4 for half a point each. Please name them. I'll give you a minute to think about those. Pierre reckons he might know question 9. That's good. Or maybe this will turn out to be a super easy round 3. Maybe everyone will get 10 out of 10 and smash their scores in the previous rounds. I could do double points, but I'm not going to. All right, let's go through the answers to round 3. They are, so question 1 was, what is the real first name of Bear Grylls? Well, he is Edward Michael Grylls. So if you had Edward for question 1 of round 3, you were correct. Elated Matt says, it's a bit easier than the usual round 3, I reckon, but not by much. Well, we'll see what the final score is, Matt. Don't want to count your points before they hatch. Question 2, what medal is awarded in the AFL Grand Final to the best player of the match? That is the Norm Smith medal. The Norm Smith medal. I'm assuming Norm Smith was a football man. If you had Michael as the first name of Bear Grylls, well, that's not his first name, is it? It's his middle name. I don't know. You can have half a point. All right, question 3. Which word traced back to the 14th century had a scrambling to our dictionaries when Kim Jong-un used it to describe Donald Trump? That was dotard, D-O-T-A-R-D, dotard, which I think means basically a doddering old fool. Of some note, says Pierre. I'm assuming he means the Norm Smith was a football man of some note. Okay. Question 3 was dotard, D-O-T-A-R-D. And Kat has a definition for us. It is an old person, especially one who has become physically weak or whose mental faculties have declined. Well, I'll leave that as an exercise for the listener as to whether they think that applies to Donald Trump or not. Question 4, what is missing from this group? The group was Ceres, Haumea, Maki Maki, Eris, and the missing one. Well, those are the 5 officially recognized dwarf planets of the solar system as recognized by the International Astronomical Union. So the missing one is, of course, your friend and mine, Pluto. So the answer to question 4 is Pluto. Question 5. A common type of camera is an SLR or a digital SLR. So what does SLR stand for? It stands for single lens reflex. Single lens reflex. That's R-E-F-L-E-X. And it refers to the fact that that type of camera uses a prism and a mirror, hence reflex as in reflection, which allows the photographer to look through the same lens at the exact same view that the film or the digital sensor will see, as opposed to like a cheapy camera where you look through a viewfinder and you see a slightly different view to what the film is actually going to see. With an SLR, what the view you're looking at in the frame is the same as the view that the sensor sees. So the answer is single lens reflex. Question 6. Which artist released the album Wrecking Ball in 2012? Were you thinking, gosh, that doesn't sound like a round 3 question? That's because you fell into my trap. The answer is Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen released the album Wrecking Ball in 2012. You may have been thinking of the song by Miley Cyrus called Wrecking Ball, but that was on her 2013 album, Bangers. So the answer to round 6 is Bruce Springsteen. Question 7, resisting the urge to laugh evilly. Question 7, a major political incident was the poisoning of those 2 people. What was the name of the nerve agent? That was Novichok. N-O-V-I-C-H-O-K. Novichok. Haha, lots of grumpy comments about being tricked by the Miley Cyrus question, which was, of course, a Bruce Springsteen question. Question 8. So the answer to question 7 was Novichok. The answer to question 8, Ingvar Kamprad. Which retail empire did he found? Well, his initials were IK, and he had a sort of Scandinavian-sounding name. He founded IKEA, which, when I were a lad, was a cheap furniture store, and it was cheap because you bought it in bits and you made it yourself, so you weren't paying them for the labor. But now it's become this expensive boutique furniture shop where you still have to build it yourself. Anyway, old man yells at cloud. Question 9. So the answer to question 8 was IKEA. Question 9. We're up there in the obscurity stakes on this one, but it is significant. Question 9, from a refereeing standpoint, what was significant about Diego Costa's goal against Portugal in the FIFA World Cup game on the 15th of June 2018? Well, it was the first FIFA World Cup game in history to be decided by a video assistant referee. They were only added to the FIFA World Cup in 2018, and that goal in that game was the first time that they were used to make a decision about whether or not it was a goal, and it was a goal. So the answer to that question is video referee. It was decided by video referee. That's what's significant from a refereeing standpoint about question 9. You had plutonium. There was that guy, Georgie, someone who got poisoned with polonium. The Russians used to often put polonium pellets in the ends of umbrellas and stab you with them because polonium makes you die horribly over a very long period of time. There's been some famous incidents of that happening. Maybe that's what you were thinking of, but that's not the answer in this case. Okay, and then question 10 was, for half a point each, please name the 4 islands that are shared by Indonesia with other countries. So those 4 islands are, I'll give you the islands first and then we'll run through why. But first one is Borneo. Then we have Timor, New Guinea, and the last one, Sebatik, Sebatik. So to explain the answer, Borneo is a very large island shared with Malaysia and Brunei. Timor is obviously shared with East Timor. New Guinea is shared with Papua New Guinea. And Sebatik, which is located off the northeastern coast of Kalimantan, is shared with Malaysia. So the answers are, for half a point each, it's Borneo, Timor, New Guinea, and Sebatik. Yeah, ricin is another classic one for being poisoned by the Russians. Actually, ricin was I think it was a powder they were sending around, wasn't it? Anyway, let's not get too caught up in our historic poisonings. All right, how'd you go in round 3? If you said some derivation of the island, I think you can have half a, well, you end it with a quarter of a point. Like, for example, if you said Papua New Guinea, that's not the island. That's the country that shares the island. So you would have to get half of the points available for that answer. So you would get a quarter of a point. Okay, Norel got 5, Stephen got 4.5, David Jones got 3, Kat got 1.5, Ads got 5. That's pretty good for round 3. Matt got a highly impressive 5. Pierre got 4. David Jones got 2.5. Pierre got 0.5. Excuse me. Yes, it was a tricky one. That was good fun, though. I enjoyed that round. Largely because it had a trick question that tricked everybody. That's always good fun. Peter got 4.5. Pretty good. Did anybody get the Bruce Springsteen one, honestly? All right, so before we finish up, we have a Who Am I question. No worries, Kim, if you're heading off. I hope you enjoyed it. Did anyone get Bruce Springsteen? I don't think so. Okay, so we'll have a Who Am I question. This is pretty simple. I'm just going to read out clues about a person. If you're in a tiebreak situation, you play as follows. If you think you know the answer, say the name of the person. If you're right, you win. But if you're wrong, you lose the tiebreak. So you want to be fast, but you want to be correct. If you're not in a tiebreak situation, just play along, have a bit of fun. Nope, everybody fell for the trick. That cat mask is slowly retreating into that box. The cat mask is actually on the end of a telescope, strangely. And I do straighten it up and it seems to slowly rotate back to stare at the sky. Okay, so here we go. We'll do the Who Am I? Who am I? I'm a person this time. We've had some strange ones in the past. Maybe I'll do a strange one next week. But this time, I am a person. I was born in 1959 in London. As a child, I was intrigued by language and literature, and I went on to successfully take my A-levels in English, French, and Latin. You think I was born in 1959 in London? No, I was not, Narelle. Okay, now you throw me off. Okay, who am I? I was born in 1959 in London. I was intrigued by language. I took my A-levels in English, French, and Latin. I secured a scholarship for an English degree at Newnham College, Cambridge. I became a self-confessed punk rocker with short red hair and a motorcycle. You know, it kind of does sound like me. And I aspired to be a stand-up comedian. At Cambridge, I was invited into Footlights, the university's prestigious sketch comedy troupe. I organized the first all-female review, and in the following year, as vice president, I led the Footlights team to win the Perrier Award at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. During my career, I have received 2 Academy Awards, 3 BAFTA Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and 1 Primetime Emmy Award. With success as an actress, screenwriter, activist, author, and comedian, I am difficult to pin down. But I am perhaps best known recently for my roles as Nanny McPhee, as well as in the Harry Potter films, 2 Men in Black films, and the film Love Actually. I am, of course, Emma Thompson. Interesting sub-fact about Emma Thompson. She is the only person to have received 2 Academy Awards in 2 separate disciplines. I think that's the correct way of putting it. She received 1 for acting, but she also received 1 for screenwriting because she wrote the screenplay for Sense and Sensibility, and she won an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. So there you go. Pretty cool. All right, well, that was fun. It's pretty difficult this week, I thought, but you all did pretty well in the end. Slightly fell into my trap in places, but that's all part of the fun. So, yep, still planning to go ahead as usual. The delay, who am I? Yes. Okay, I see what you were doing. You were saying that it was me. Yep, so still planning to go ahead next week and for a while, presumably, hopefully. Normally I say things are backing off on the whole COVID thing, but I don't know, Victoria. What are you guys getting up to down there? Because it's all kind of kicking off down there at the moment. I think Warren Beatty has one for a few disciplines too. Yeah, that's probably true, I guess. Maybe she's the only person who's got them specifically for writing and for acting and screenwriting. Anyway, that's not really a fact. That's a sub-fact. Okay, thank you all. Hope you had fun. More COVID, says Ads. No, we don't want more COVID. You got to remember that like 5% of us will die if we get more COVID, so that's not so good. Oh, some messages on the trivia page. Yep. Peter says he did fall into the trap. I think everybody fell into my Bruce Springsteen trap this week. Cool. All right. Glad you all had fun. I'm just reading through the comments. See you all next week. Bye.